Supervisor Bob Vinson was on night duty on the second floor of the hotel. Only then does he see a strange-looking machine in the corridor that did not exist here until a while ago. This floor of the hotel, which was dedicated to the employees, seeing this strange machine here at this time of night, the supervisor started to feel something wrong. It was a metallic box to which a second small box was connected, and the front part of it looked like a weird control panel. The control panel had a total of 28 switches, which were also numbered. All the switches were on the bottom side except switch number 23. At this time it was 6 so in the morning. And this is the story of the Harvest Lake Tahoe Hotel and Casino in Nevada, which is going to make national news headlines in the next 24 hours. It wasn't just this strange machine that surprised Bob Vinson. He was on duty almost the whole night, but did not hear the sound of placing any machine in the corridor. Somebody left this machine here. He placed it on top of 4 wooden bunches. They were buried in the carpet of the corridor, indicating that the machine was quite heavy. What made this incident even more strange was that the locks of the doors around where this machine was placed had been made ankara by adding super glue. Bob Vincent was just in the midst of this melee when he finds an envelope lying in the parallels of the machine. It was written on G's to the Harvest Management was Nazarene Harvey's Lake Tahoe, American State, Nevada is a well-known casino and hotel at the time we are talking. At that time it was an 11-story building with 1197 rooms. When Bob Vinson, who was on the second floor of the building, found the envelope, he ran to form security. Later, the police and fire department were called. At first, no one dared to pick up the envelope and look at it because everyone suspected that it was a trap. Later, it was opened after shaking it with the help of a broom. In this envelope was a document of a total of 3 pages typed with a Gisco typewriter. Above it was written in a headline, "Warning for Hotel Management," and under the headline, it was written that this bomb should not be tried to shake because there is such a mechanism inside that if this hair is shaken, it will detonate in milliseconds. Do not try to put water or gas in it because there are float switches inside it. If this is done, the air pressure inside the machine will increase, and in this case, also it will burst. The screws on the top of the machine are also connected to the trigger. So even if the screw is rotated 25%, even then it will burst. Simply put, this bomb was so fragile that even the slightest movement could detonate it. Cuma's cum as written in the letter. According to him, 600 guests were sleeping in their rooms at the time. The police evacuated the hotel and asked everyone to go to the parking lot. After that, the bomb squad was called and they first inspected the machine properly. It was a box of about half an inch steel sheet. The Gisco was welded with great cleanliness. Even in the places where there were some targets, it was straightened by putting a pot in the car body. There were bubble levels on all 4 sides of the box, which were probably installed to keep the machine perfectly upright. All these things were indicating that perhaps what was written in the letter was really true. In the letter, Wajid had written that this bomb cannot be stopped in any way. Even the creator can't do that. It has automatic timers that will tear it apart in the next 24 hours. It can only be picked up from here and taken to a safe place. That too only if the management will follow the instructions written in this letter. The law enforcement agencies and bomb squad did not take any action to detonate the bomb in view of the seriousness of the incident. First, they tried to find any fingerprints on the top of the box, but they didn't find anything. Then they took pictures of her from all sides and x-rayed her with a special x-ray machine to find out if there is really something inside her or if this is just a hoax. By the time the x-ray was developing, he put a stethoscope on the body of the box and began to listen carefully. There must have been something in it that made the sound. Something was moving inside the box. In the letter, it was claimed that TNT is present inside the box, but after all, how much of it was indicated in a place in the letter that if the bomb exploded, then the casinos present across the road would also suffer a lot of damage, and these alphabets were also written which had a pattern. You are advised to move people away from a radius of 1200 feet of this bomb. Police officers also evacuated nearby buildings, shut down the hotel's gas pipeline, and casino employees began moving millions of dollars in cash elsewhere. FBI agents also arrived at the scene and set up a command and control center for the operation in a nearby building. The faces of police and law enforcement agencies were screaming that the matter is more serious than it appears. But what were the demands of whoever placed this bomb here? The letter said he wanted $3 million in cash, provided it was in used $100 notes. There should not be any kind of marking on them, nor should any kind of chemical be applied on the notes. And it was also written that in case of trickery, the method of defusing the bomb will not be told, and if the demand is not met within 24 hours, then the automatic timers will detonate the bomb itself. But to whom and how? When the prepared X-ray film came back from the lab, the blurry black and white picture cumulatively supported the claim of the threatening letter. The small control box that was installed on top of the machine, it was seen in the X-ray that the virus is actually connected with its screw. This was also mentioned in the letter. There was a straight tube in the box, which might have been a tilt sensor, and a float valve was also apparently visible. In addition, the box below was filled with Mukhtarif cylinders. What were these cylinders? At that time, the police had no idea. One thing was certain, the person who wrote the letter was not doing any prank. This machine was really a bomb. The 24-hour deadline was slowly coming to an end. Hence, the authorities were ready to take action. The 3-page letter also contained information about the delivery of the money. The money will be delivered by helicopter. The pilot was instructed to land near the LTA building at Lake Tahoe Airport at 11 p.m. and to head south. After that, the pilot will land and stand close to the fans where he will receive a call, and the rest of the instructions will be given in the same call. Remember that the helicopter should have only the pilot, no gunman or any other person. To carry out this work, an agent named Joe Cook started the FBI helicopter. $3 million in cash was kept in the helicopter. But all these were fake notes, and a gunman was also hidden behind the pilot's seat in the helicopter. The gunman was instructed that no matter what happened, he had to be protected by FBI agent Joe. At exactly 11 p.m., the FBI agent landed at the indicated place and got down and stood near the fans. After a while, the phone booth near the fans rings. When the agent picked up the phone, a man from the other side said that there was a letter under the phone booth table. Read it up. Whoever was on the other side was pretty clever. He didn't want to be on the phone for more than 5 seconds, because the longer the call, the chances of it being traced increase. This new letter was written in the name of the pilot. It was written that first go towards the helicopter and light a flashlight inside and show the corner of the helicopter. Don't say that we are watching you. Then take off and go to Highway 50. After exactly 15 minutes, You will see a strobe light in the forest on your right-hand side. Land facing south near the strobe light. There, you will find a second letter hanging on the derrick. The pilot did just that. Cleverly illuminated the cockpit of the helicopter so that the gunman could not be seen, and took off and reached exactly the point where he was supposed to see the strobe light. After reaching the location, the pilot does not see any strobe light for a long time. For the next 1 hour, he continued to circle there, but there was no movement among the jungle in the dark night. So he came back to the airport and landed. Later, he realized that he did not follow the instructions correctly and where he really had to go. They were miles away. News was played on TV to send a message to the instructor that there is some confusion regarding the location in the instructions. He had planned the whole game. When he learned that the police were still willing to pay him, he called the police station and told him to switch the machine at the Harvest Hotel to number 5 upwards and wait for the next phone call. Maybe he wanted to buy some time to make a new plan. Then he asked to turn the dummy switch up, but it was too late now. It was 6:40 in the morning. The bomb had been in the hotel for more than 24 hours, but even after the deadline, it didn't break. That was a positive thing. On the other hand, the teams of FBI, police, bomb squad and fire department present at the command and control center had guessed that the box could contain at most 1,000 pounds of TNT. He was sitting doing all the calculations that if it is torn up here in the hotel, then the pillars of the building will not be damaged. There will be more damage to the interior of the floor. So they fitted it with a small bomb control box in the equivalent of the bomb. The plan was that this plastic bomb would make the control box useless as soon as it exploded, and perhaps such TNT could not be detonated. All preparations had been completed. The surrounding buildings were evacuated and preparations were made to detonate the bomb. At this time, 27th August. It was 3:45 in the afternoon. The entire crowd stood a kilometer away watching the scene, and news outlets were recording the scene. At this point, the sound of fire in the hole came and the remote control button was pressed. The machine lying in the corridor detonated due to the shock and the bomb exploded. But as it was written in the letter, it did not contain TNT. But later on checking, it was found that it contained dynamite, whose explosion is much less than TNT. But who was the bomber? The man who planted the bomb at the Harvey Hotel and Casino was John, aged 50, and his 2 sons were helping him in this work. He had lost his life deposit in this casino, and then he made this whole plan to get the money out of the hotel owner with great cleverness. It was later revealed that John Briggs' plan was to steal the helicopter along with the cash. Had the pilot reached that location and descended into the jungle to find a new envelope, John Burgess's son would have fled in a helicopter at a location where he had already parked his car. John Burgess was sentenced to 20 years in prison, but his sons were pardoned in exchange for helping the police. John died of liver cancer in 1956. After this incident, the hotel owner got the Harvest Hotel runway and relaunched it with a new design and more rooms. I hope you will also like and share this video of MTV. Thank you very much for your kind comments. In the next great video.